Hello, everyone. I'm GoldenHawk, creator of Ancient Powers and 24th degree High Priestess of the House of Life. I'm here tonight to speak with you about disease and illnesses, what's going on with our DNA as we move through the Ascension energy. Quite often, when we first begin being really aware of our abilities, of our powers, our gifts, usually they're not under much control whatsoever, but a different a different type of energy starts actually running through the body, and the energy is at a higher level. This opens up certain shifts and changes within our DNA. And it activates what's going on. And Mary, it activates the memory field of the Kahayabit, or the shadow body. And this is the body of pain. Fibromyalgia has been mentioned by many of you, and this is really super common. And I can speak to you of this. I've worked with a lot of people with it, but I had 14 of the fibromyalgia points after I had broken my back and healed from that and was up and walking again. I'm suddenly dealing with all of these phantom pains. And then back to back on it, they're like, oh, we're going to check you for cancer. The cancer situation melted away. Thankful, very thankful on that one. Although what I learned about dealing with the fibro points, they're like, oh, well, you don't quite have it. You're missing 2 points. This was many years ago, so it wasn't as well documented as it is now. And I believe that there are a lot more points at this time, a lot more symptoms. Hi, Carrie. But the fibro priest is huge. Now, of course, we've all gone through certain traumas or witnessed certain traumas, and this imprints an actual energetic memory field in our bodies. And just as water has memory, so does the field, this encasing field in our bodies. Very common. The genetic or DNA piece with the shift is we start opening up ancestral pieces that are aligned with others within the genetic family who have had the gifts. And these people have been, or had been, very traumatized throughout the history of hunts in this world for the gifted, for the teachers. And this was part of learning, walking, knowing the ancient power system, was learning about this shadow body, the Kahayabit, the place where the body of God itself, or divine light, casts a shadow. And it can be opened, and it can be basically erased. It is also a fairly simple thing Once you've learned how to do it and you're aligned with the correct energy, you have the pattern for the correct energy, you can call in the ancestral lineage, that is connected to that specific pain point, that trauma, and you'll find that it reoccurs in the family. You can open that up, call the ancestors in, and as you clear it for yourselves, you can clear it for your ancestors. The more of the high energy you're running without structure, the more the field opens and actually creates more pain. I did work with stones and crystals. Selenite's a great one. And I got a lot of temporary relief. I went to massage therapists, acupressure. I went and learned I have so many modalities under my belt, so to say, for moving through the pain in the physical body and moving the pain from the shadow body, moving that through, moving it out. I had started with cutting cords, big mistake, because it just leaves an antenna going, oh, where's that matching energy? Where's that matching energy? And even though you, to a certain extent, shift that energy, if you're working with someone that's good enough to do this correctly, it will go back because of the body memory. So you actually have to work with the field of the shadow body and the encasement inside the physical body. And I had intended on writing a note down what medicine has now named it, because they found it and they've named it. But to work with that and actually open it up, it goes around every muscle, it encases every nerve, it encases every organ in the body. And this needs to be actually erased all the way through the genetics. You are not here now to just move into ascension yourself. You are here to release your lineage. In ancient, with the Vikings in Scotland, some of the outlying areas, there was an ancient tradition, tribal tradition, and when a new child was born, the midwife would bring the new baby out to the elder female in the tribe, and the aunts, the mothers, sisters, the females in the family and out into the tribe would circle, and she would take the baby and look at the baby and ask this baby, are you the one? Are you the one who has come to teach us? Are you the one who has come to release us from war? Are you the one who has come to bring knowledge? Are you the child who has come to make the change? And they did this for generations and generations. It was taken away. It still exists in some of the records, some of the handwritten pieces from the Waitig Tali. It's a beautiful ceremony. So each child knows that they may be the one. It's imprinted. It was imprinted, impressed at birth. Well, if you're here and it's now and we're in the photon field, you're the one. If you choose to step up and you choose to do it. But you can have work done over and over, Reiki, cord cutting, get all the body work that you can think of getting. And until you work with the Kahayabit and the Shen, knowing that they are bodies and complete energetic fields, it's going to keep coming, and it's just going to repeat. It's going to show up point after point after point. Liver burnout, alcoholism, drug addiction, all diseases, the food piece, trying to fill it, trying to feed it, disease, dis-ease, not being at ease, not comfortable, not authentic. When this begins to happen, when these diseases start coming in, and the autoimmune diseases are really heavy right now because of the disconnect we have and because we are bringing so much light in and the body does not have a bridge for it, and the shadow body hasn't been cleared. So it's going to keep coming and coming. And I told you I had fibro. I found the shadow body. They thought I had cancer. I found the shadow body. And I found a way to open it. And by this point, I was fully activated. I was structured. I cannot tell you how grateful I was. I was bitten by a recluse, and I had encapsulated the poison in my foot. And I've been going, wow, I'm going to possibly lose my foot, my leg. Trauma after trauma, another car accident. I found the shadow body. I opened it. I actually drew the poison out of my body from the recluse bite. No loss of flesh. Excuse me. No loss of flesh whatsoever. I was able to work on a couple other people. It's not a super common thing to get bit by a recluse, but I was able to bring tissue growth back and release I wasn't able to do it. I was able to open the shadow body, and the person that I was working with was able to do it, because it's really more work on the self. And at finding this, I was like, I don't have to go get worked on by other people anymore. I was able to work on myself, and the results were great. I was diagnosed with hyperlipidemia, which is my body was overproducing fat and cholesterol. They're like, your glycerides are up so high, we're surprised you don't have a heart attack right here. And it's hereditary. And I'm like, wow, well, nobody's had it in my family in the generations I've known. And I've known like 3 generations behind me. I'm like, so how far does it go back in my heredity? How far back? But I actually released those pieces too. And they put me on a medication called Daycall. I was like, I'm not taking this. It's going to kill me. They pulled it off the shelves 2 weeks later because it was killing people. Then they put me on Lipitor. And I'm going, I don't want to take these. I just couldn't. And I used the shadow body, the Kahayabit work, and it was fabulous. I used the cord work, because that was the next revelation with the ancestral. And I've healed it inside myself. I've opened the Kahaya bit and gone into the cording on tumors the size of grapefruits inside people. And that one did take a group of 3, but it dissolved. She went in the following Tuesday. This was Sunday. The following Tuesday, she went in for the biopsy, and the doctors are like, well, it's gone. It's broken apart. It's smaller than a shriveled walnut meat, and your body's flushing it. So that's really awesome. But you have to have the correct energy running through you that aligns with the energy of the memory in the Kahaya bit, that field that's a little different than the neurological. It's kind of new to medical science. It's not new at all to the ancient shamans and sorcerers. But that energy has to be ran. That energy where the body of God, the light of God casts the shadow, the Kahaya bit. You have to be able to run this energy. You have to be structured. And then you can work on yourself, which is fabulous. No medication, no medical bills. The pain goes, and you don't even remember the pain unless you're a shaman and can bring the body back up. But then that's just a shadow, which is really great. The alcoholism piece, ancestral, can definitely be related to the Kahaya bit. The drug addictive piece, same thing. That emptiness that you try to feel, or the numbing down of your power, of your ability. Once you have the activations, once you're running that energy, and you can work on yourself, you can go in and heal that too. You can go in and actually make peace. The Nordic people, the Scots, the Irish, the Burgundians, several of the tribes that are in what's now England, Welsh, actually had a religion or belief structure inside the tribal structure where they used alcohol to call in an energy to go to war. And it was part of that piece. They did this for over 4,000 years. But the Egyptians, they created beer, and it was called slave bread. And it was to numb the workers in the fields, to keep them with enough carbohydrates to work, and to keep them from dehydrating because of the sun that they were working under. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, the Egyptian thing, you must love beer. I'm like, yeah, I'm not a slave, and I don't want to be enslaved. And the next time I'll talk a little bit after the Days of the Gods about Sekhem and Sekhmet and enslaving. The Egyptian days of the gods, the days of the Medders, after the world was tilted to 23.5 degrees, the cataclysm, there were 5 of the ancient netters who returned here from where they were taken during the cataclysm to bring back the structure that I teach. And the days of their return, the earth had tilted. It gave us an extra 5.4 days, basically. So we went from a 360-day calendar to a 365.4-day calendar with leap year in it. And tonight is the night of the gate of Kant's and Tahote, consciousness and the word. And it's just funny because the word beat consciousness in a game of Senate, according to the myth, and there's zodiacal pieces in that, but they were able to gate the moon so that the one that is called now Osiris, who is Asar, Sal, could be born on the first day, and that's the 20th, and that's tomorrow. And I'll talk about some of the correspondences, some of the pain that he came in to restructure, some of his pieces, and how he, as a function of divinity, as a netter, how he rises within us, and he's actually the function of the resurrection. So that's tomorrow, and we'll go through the other 4 as the days go on. I will be starting my enrollment for my first online class, because I've been doing these classes forever. My first online class is the 21st. It's the day of Heru, the one who was born into 4D to hold a free quantum field outside the probability field that was created when the planet was hit, which is where we're connected now. So if you want to have the power in your hands, in your heart and your field, your tools to be your knowledge and your abilities, if you want to heal your shadow body and release your ancestors, you want the same results I got for myself and so many of my students and clients, PM me and we'll talk. And I love you all. And I would really like to see you actually fully heal. Blessings, Neferka.